Chuck Todd has weighed in with his expert analysis in regard to Governor Andrew Cuomo's decision to resign. Now, of course, Cuomo decided to resign after he was embroiled in multiple controversies. The most prominent one being the fact that he sexually harassed 11 different women, and that was outlined in the state attorney general's report. Now, Chuck Todd wanted to weigh in on why Cuomo resigned and what the benefits of his resignation could be to Cuomo's own personal career. Let's watch.
And look, I had talked to somebody very close to him last week who said, that they thought eventually he would get to resignation because he wouldn't want to, part of the punishment if he was convicted in an impeachment trial would have been no longer being able to serve in office in the state of New York. And, I think a Cuomo believes you can go and live another day,
So they're already plotting for the Cuomo comeback. And we have another video on this, but before we get to that, Cenk, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, just this is a nice appetizer video. In the state of New York, what is he's going to run for governor or senator from New York? These guys are on a different planet.
Are they?
They are. It's called Planet Washington, where there's nothing that the powerful can do that would disqualify them. He reached under a woman's blouse and grabbed her breasts. I know they don't care about the corruption, they celebrate the corruption. He shut down a corruption commission that was looking into his own donors, right? And the nursing home deaths, the Chuck Todds of the world could care less about that. But the sexual harassment thing should be a third rail even for them. But they're like, oh no, that's just you go into celebrity jail for a little while. And then, if you roll 3 times, you get out. And then we all do marketing and propaganda for you all over again, which leads us to the second clip.
Yeah, let's go to the second clip.
His career was either permanently over or almost permanently over, and he chose the path of almost permanently over, right? The resignation gives him, we know the way our world works. It's amazing the people we've seen make political comebacks. You can't ever rule it out. And I think he realized he could become a pariah in the Democratic Party for sticking it out and fighting, or he can, not saying he's going to generate goodwill, but I promise you there's a whole bunch of state assembly members that are relieved today.
So he's doing him a solid by stepping down, because then, the state legislature doesn't have to engage in impeachment proceedings. People don't get dragged through the mud. Cuomo resigning makes it all go away. And maybe in the future, the favor can be returned. And as you were talking, Cenk, I thought about, and I could be wrong, but isn't there a Democratic senator who went to prison for corruption and got out and is currently a senator?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, sorry, I totally, okay. Edit that out. No, remember there was a Democratic lawmaker who went to prison on corruption charges, got out, and
You might be talking about a little bit earlier time, maybe from Louisiana, but I don't remember, to be honest. Okay, we probably should have done that earlier.
We're moving on. Sorry, that was a spontaneous comment. I wasn't 100% sure, that's why I asked, but we can move on.
And you might still be right, I don't know it. Okay, so back to this.
Yeah.
So Andrea Mitchell, in the longer version of that segment, also engaged in some questions about comeback and stuff. Can I, if I'm in class, I'm raising my hand here to ask what I think is a fairly obvious question. Why are we talking about a comeback for Cuomo? He just stepped down for doing terrible things. Like, imagine if a progressive had done what half, a quarter, 10% of what Cuomo did. Would they be like, well, when is Bernie Sanders gonna make a comeback? I don't know, everybody's thinking about it. Okay, you never know in this town, we could all go behind Bernie Sanders again. No, they would never do that, never, ever, right? But so they betray themselves. They love Cuomo, the people in power. And remember, all of Cuomo's leaks went to the mainstream media when he was going to do character assassinations of people that he had sexually harassed, people that had aided and abetted him on corruption to help them, the people that were going to expose my corruption, leak against them, smears. Guys, you read the Ronan Farrow piece about the Moreland Commission and the corruption that Cuomo covered up about his own corruption, and it's one reference to another about how he smears people who might expose him. But he mentions it, but he doesn't elaborate. It's not Ron's fault. Ron Farrow wrote a great piece. You should read it. We'll put the link in the description box below for you guys. Always check the description box. We have links in there for important things. So now, but they never elaborate. Wait, where did the smears go? Did they just go into the ether? Did he shout them out from a rooftop? No, you go to a reporter and you go, oh, I have an important leak for you. You're gonna get the scoop, okay? Now go destroy this person's life. Now the reporter, 99 out of 100 times doesn't go, oh, this is an obvious political hit job. I will report it as an obvious political hit job. Never, no, that's 100 out of 100 times. They never do that, right? But 99 out of 100 times they go, oh, great. I have such an important news source here. I will now get accolades from my editors for having an important news piece. It's not a news piece. You're doing propaganda for terrible people. And so Chuck Todd is part of that system. So he sees Cuomo stepping down and goes, oh, we liked Andrew Cuomo. We liked assassinating progressives together. And we loved attacking the powerless. Oh, when is he gonna do a comeback? Let's talk about the narrative of comeback. Could be any minute now. Hey, listen, and again, in the longer version of the segment, he talked about how, oh, it could be 1 year, 3 years, however long he has to sit out.
It's so absurd.
Yeah, just bench him for a little while and then we'll bring him back. Because, I mean, why? Are we out of politicians? Are we out of American citizens that could run for office? No, you like him not despite the corruption, but because of the corruption. That's why you're rooting for the comeback.
Ronan Farrow's recent reporting in the New Yorker indicates that Cuomo engaged in obstruction of justice on a corruption investigation that was looking into his donors. Cenk briefly mentioned that. He also made awful decisions in the state of New York by forcing nursing homes to take in elderly COVID patients who then spread the virus within the nursing homes, and that led to elderly people dying, and then the Cuomo administration underreported as much as 50% of the deaths later. And then when they got caught, there was a little bit of negative attention, but everyone seems to have forgotten that. Like, people died because of Cuomo's decisions. And here's Chuck Todd having a discussion, like scheming regarding how Cuomo can make a comeback.
You know,
it's the least important angle to cover on this story. Literally the least important topic of discussion in regard to Cuomo's resignation. But MSNBC went there. MSNBC went there.
This is amazing. I'm gonna give you more quotes from that segment because it just gets crazier and crazier. He said, I think Cuomo believes he can go and live another day. Okay, now that's already, I don't know why, again, you're helping him with his narrative, but that's fine. It's not fine, but let's move on because there's worse. He continued by reflecting, I'm quoting now Mediaite, reflecting on the quote, politically pragmatic decisions Cuomo has made throughout his career. Wait, so we're not having a conversation about what a terrible sexual harasser he was, etc. We're having a conversation about, oh, way to resign after fighting it for months and months and months because you're so politically pragmatic. This is a time to praise Cuomo? That's amazing. And one more, he says, quote, he sees reality quicker than maybe some folks thought he would.
What a good guy.
What a good guy. Wait, wow. He sees reality quicker? Dude, these charges came out. Chuck Todd, are you paying attention to any of the news? They didn't come out yesterday. It's not like, hey, they came out yesterday. Oh, he sees reality right away, he's resigning. He fought him until they did a giant investigation. The giant investigation comes out and says, you're definitely guilty. There's 11 of them and we have overwhelming evidence. He still fights it and fights it and fights it. And now he's got 3 different scandals at once. And when he finally concedes beyond any reasonable timeline, Chuck Todd turns around and goes, you see how quickly he saw it? He sees it quicker before anyone else does.
He really does, you know?
Guys, does that, look, I gotta.
Andrew Cuomo, finger on the pulse.
Oh yeah, and Chuck Todd, he does news. Again, seriously guys, does that look like news to you? And this, so manufacturing consent by Noam Chomsky was not theoretical and it was not hypothetical. It's real. they're not manufacturing news, they're manufacturing consent. So Andrew Cuomo was great for corrupt corporate donors. Why did we fight him? If you've ever watched the Young Turks, and one of our viewers who paid for our journalists before and was bragging about it today, you should brag about it because Namiki Kans was one of them. And you saw her for the 5 years here and then beyond TYT, explaining to you all the things that are wrong with Andrew Cuomo. We all knew it, and Chuck Todd knew it, and New York Times. And by the way, I'll give New York Times a piece of credit here. We covered their original investigation about Cuomo's corruption. But that's the amazing thing. They do it once and they have instant collective amnesia. But wait a minute, you guys, you're the one who did the story on his corruption just yesterday, right? Nope, they go on to cover him like, oh no, he's making decisions about real estate in New York, independent of his donors. No, he's not. Corruption story showed that he was most protective of his real estate donors. Okay, and then you cover it as if it's real, like his principles, etc., and how pragmatic it is. Because these guys, their whole job, and a lot of them don't even know it. Their whole job is to protect the powerful, the status quo, and most of all, the donors. And that's what you saw from Chuck Todd's pathetic performance today. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.